Hello YouTube, it's Dark bringing you a how-to video on how to install and configure Koolo. In case you aren't a self-starter and you don't want to do it yourself, you just need a little guidance. That's what this will be for. The links in the description will help you download the required files, of course, and we'll go over exactly what you need to do in order to install it. And I want to go over the GitHub. I also want to invite you to sign up for their Discord, and you can do that all by basically just coming to their GitHub here. Then you can click on the Discord link and you can sign up there. There's tons of help there. There's a FAQ there. There's a help section there. Literally everything you could basically need in order to get this to work. If you have any questions or anything, of course, I will do my best to answer the questions as well. I have configured and set one up that is working, so I can do my best to help you as well. But the primary source of information and help is going to be that Discord, because they are the ones running this, not me. So let's talk about this. So you can and will get banned for using this. I have already seen people discussing it on their Discord about how they've been banned. And there are certain ways that you can get banned, which I will try to go over later, but this is always evolving with bots. This is always changing with bots. There's no real way to know for certain what's going to get you banned, but there are definitely some surefire ways. So before we go any further, make sure you understand that. Make sure that you could suffer consequences for using this bot. You know, you could lose every single one of your Diablo 2 resurrected characters if you use an account that you normally run on. What I would suggest you do is buy a new copy. It's on sale now. Another link in the description to go buy a copy. Support Blizzard and use that instead. In fact, for me, I'm using two VPNs or SOCKS 5 servers. I downloaded a new copy, installed it into a new spot, and I'm even thinking about when I go to use it on battle.net, I may even put it into a virtual machine. I haven't decided yet. So I've only personally run it on single player, but I have seen it working on online as well. So anyway, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about some of the features that this bot has. There are only certain builds that are going to work with this bot right now, as this is not a fully fledged out, polished bot. You also have to keep in mind that they're giving this away for free for right now. So that's another thing you need to consider, because that may change in the future. And also, they're not making any direct money off of this. They probably are taking donations. I hope they are. I plan to donate to them if they are, and you should too, if you're going to use this. So we have Blizzard Sorceress, Nova Sorceress, Fists of Heaven, Berserk Barbarian, Hork Travancore, which is a really good barbarian, and Mosaic are currently supported. Hammerden, Javazon, Wind Druid are works in progress. I have a report from a member of our Discord that the Hammerden works great. So take that as you will, and understand that some of these things are working better than the others, and some of these things are more efficient than the others, as you could probably imagine. Supported runs. They actually have more than they have listed here, I do believe. They do have terror zones now, as well as the ones that they have listed in this particular spot here. So you do have that. Multi-window support, run multiple bots at the same time, of course. Bot integration for Discord and Telegram. It's pretty neat if that's something you're into. Companion mode, one leader bot will create games while the rest of the bots join the game. This is not actually working just yet. This is a feature that obviously a lot of people, including myself, would love to see. Picket files are based on NIP files, and this is fascinating to me because we use it all in Cobot on this channel and Cobot Forever. So the same files that you're using for those would also work for Diablo 2 Resurrected, with the caveat being that in Diablo 2 Legacy, or LOD, we don't have things like, what are those charms called? Sunders. We don't have Sunders, and we don't have Mosaic. There are certain things, Flickering Flame, Cure, all of the newer rune words and stuff are not included in that picket file. So you're going to want to add those, or if somebody has one that they would like to share, again, put it in the comments section and I will upload it to my website and I will share it with the public. If that's something you want to do, that would be much appreciated. Auto potion for health and mana, I can confirm that's working. Chicken when low health, can confirm that's working. Inventory slot locking, can confirm that's working. The locking of the inventory is very important so that the bot doesn't toss out items that you want, just like Colbot, just like D2 at all. Revive Mercenary can confirm it's working. CTA buff and class buffs, again, can confirm it's working. So basically, all of those things that are down below there, I'm not going to keep going through these, but they are working to some extent. I have not tried the auto leveling for the Sorceress and Paladin yet. I have heard and seen reports on Discord that it's a little bit buggy and it's definitely not perfect. Gambling and no, just gambling. Gambling was working good for me. Cubing and crafting, I have not tried yet. Terra zones, I have not tried yet. And unfortunately, Classic is not supported, which is a really big bummer because Classic is really neat and really a massive pain to play without a bot. So hopefully they can get that worked out at some point. I know not too many people play Classic, especially on Diablo 2 Resurrected. I know that's a fairly small community, but it's still really neat. So, what do we need? Well, we need two things. We need, obviously, Diablo 2 Resurrected. We need our resolution to be 720p, which is 1280 by 720. We need windowed mode. And we need to make sure that if we're using like large fonts in Windows, that we disable those. So what you can do is you can log into Diablo 2 Resurrected and change those settings from the game before you run the bot. That's what I would suggest you do. That's what I did, and that is what got it working for me. We also need a copy of Diablo 2 LOD 1.13c. You have to have this, as it says, it is not optional. It will not work if you don't do it. So you must do that. Another thing that actually caught me off guard, and it says it right here, and it's completely my fault, is the fact that we need to set our key bindings in order to use skills. Now, if you don't do this, don't worry. The program will actually tell you that you haven't done it. And it will say, there will be a little pop-up white box that will pop up and say, hey, you didn't keybind this particular skill, and the bot is not going to work right now. So just keep that in mind and understand that that's how that works. You should also, for the Blizzard Sorceress and the Hammer Paladin, you should set Glacial Spike and Ice Blast for the left click, usually, and then Hammered in as well, so that you can use your you can use that, and then you can use your untimed skill on the other one. Or in the Hammerden's case, you can use the hammers, and then you can use your auras as well. And same thing with the Barbarian. You want to use Berserk on that left click skill, or whatever you have it set to. You know, you may have custom set it, but that's by default, that's what it is. Also, to use find item, you need higher gold find on secondary weapon slot. Alibaba plus anything will work. So basically, you just want to have those items on your Switch. This stuff is all like basically something you should probably already know if you've played the game a lot. So I realize that some of this may be like annoying to you guys, but I do like to go through and discuss everything they're talking about because I find it to be important, and this will help prevent a lot of issues and errors that people get, because people like to skip ahead and not read, and then you run into problems. So forgive me if this video is long, but I view it as necessary. If you want to skip ahead, go ahead. I'll try to put some timestamps or cut these into chapters so that we can go through and skip through if you don't want to be doing that. Buy TP and ID tomes and one stack of keys and keep them in your inventory. Additionally, set the TP tome to a key binding. This is required. So what they're talking about is you need to buy the books for Town Portal and Identify. And we also need to have a stack of keys. And then we also need to bind Town Portal to a key of your choice. It doesn't really matter which key, just a key will work. You probably would do this anyway if you were already playing the game. So just keep that in mind. That's something you would most likely do anyway. Haradra Cube can be stashed or kept in inventory, which is nice. It doesn't have to be in the stash. It can be in your inventory. And it will use the cube recipes if you have them enabled in the settings for your bot. And I'll show you guys that a little bit later. Keep the charms in inventory. Koolo can be configured to lock specific inventory slots. Very, very important. If we're using Torch, if we're using Annie, if we're using skill grand charms, if we're using seven MFSCs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what we're going to do is we're going to download Koolo. This is going to be the direct link to it. You can come down here and click on the zip. You can also install it from the store, or you can build it from the source by clicking here, and it will basically show you how to build it yourself so that it's fresh and it's not in a zip file, and you know that it's all original because you built it. You can do that, but just keep in mind that that's going to take a little bit more expertise than just clicking on a zip file and unzipping it. Your choice. However you'd like to do that, just follow the directions. I'm not going to go into that. I don't think most people are going to build it from the source. And those of you that are most likely going to be able to read the directions for that. And it's pretty simple. You just download a couple of files and then you build the file, or build the Koolo distribution. So again, we're going to download it. So come down here, download it, extract it, and then run koolo.exe, and then follow the setup wizard. I'm actually going to go more in depth than they are here and show you like how I did it and how I currently have it set up so that we have like a good idea of what it looks like to get it working. And we also have a brief discussion about Picket rules. Picket for this bot is going to work exactly the same as Colbot and Atoll. If you've ever watched those videos that I have, again, I'll try to link these in the description down below, but it's exactly the same. You're using NIP files, which means all you need to do is find the directory where they are for each character that you use, and then you're going to use the files that are contained in that directory. So it's not like Atoll and Colbot where it has just like a general directory. Each character in Koolo uses its own Picket files and can be customized for each one. You can do this with Atoll and Colbot too. You just have to rename the files. With this, they, in my opinion, they use a little bit better method, which is that each character will use its own Picket files in its own directory with its own name on it, so as not to be confused. So if you know how that works, basically the Picket files are exact and they have to be done properly. There can be no errors, and they need to match exactly the item that you want to find. So if you want to find that Shaco that's 141 and not just any Shaco, you need to put in there that the defense needs to be 141. I've covered all of this before in one of the Picket videos. So again, link in the description if you need to get a refresher on that. Developer environment. This is where they're talking about how you would build the latest release instead of downloading the .zip file. And that's how you would do that. Again, I don't think for most people this is something they would do, so I'm just going to skip it for now. If that's something you guys want to see, just let me know. I'll go ahead and do it for you. But I think the average user is probably just going to download the zip because it's easier. So anyway, that's going to be part 1 of how to download Koolo, the prerequisites that are required for Koolo, and just some tidbits on how to install it and how certain things work. I'll see you in the next part.